Well, hey there, welcome back to Jeremy Rewinds. Today we're going over the SEGA CD.
Press start, let the adventures unfold. Retro games and
A console that I dreamed about as a kid.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up.
I was such a SEGA kid that I wanted. Like, I had posters. You guys remember those posters that would come in your Sega Genesis games and you would open them up? Those of you that had the Sega, you would get posters, right? I know Nintendo, I'm sure, had it as well, because I remember my NES games that I would get would have posters inside. But the Sega posters, I don't know what it is, they just hit me so different, right? The Sega posters would have a big poster. One side would be like Batman Returns, Michael Keaton staring at you like, I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
Another one would have Sonic on it, right? Or Golden Axe, or whatever the different games they were advertising. But the other side had advertisements, and that's how they got you. They advertised the Sega Genesis. They advertised the 32X. They advertised the Sega CD. They advertised merchandise. And let me tell you what, I'm 43-year-old, and I am looking for Sega merchandise. I found a Sonic the Hedgehog lunchbox the other day on eBay. I was watching it. They offered it for $20. It was in one of the advertisements in one of my Sega Vision magazines, and boy, do I regret not buying it, because the only other ones that are on there, people want $70. I could have bought one for $20. I'm not buying one for $7.
What an idiot.
Thank you. Let's talk about the SEGA CD. The SEGA CD came in a couple different models. The model I have here is the Model 2. It's not the model I want. I'm not going to lie and say that I'm super excited to have this one, because I am super excited to have this one, so that's a contradiction.
What an idiot.
I would be more excited if it was the Model 1. The reasons why I want the Model 1 is because I want the Tower of Power. If you know, you know. The Tower of Power, I'll put a picture up here. Tower of Power starts with your base unit, which is your SEGA CD, which obviously came out later on, so don't get that confused. But it's the base unit, because the Sega Genesis, you had to put your carts in on top. So you would get this chungus thick like the Saturn kind of size, or the Xbox 360 size, or, you know, whatever. It was a big chungus block, right? And it had a tray that would pull out in the front, and you just push a little button, put your disc in, goes back in. You would sit your Model 1 Genesis on top, and then you could put your Sega 32X on top of that, thus starting the foundation that is the Tower of Power. Think of it like the Power Rangers, right? You saw the Tyrannosaurus and the Mastodon and the Pterodactyl and just, you know, the saber-toothed tiger. I forgot what Billy was all of a sudden. But anyways, you'd have all the dinosaurs, and they would all come racing out, and then they would form together to create the Megazord.
Nerd alert!
Right, and then later on we had the Megazord that created that would be attached with the white dinosaur, whatever that crazy long thing was. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head now, but like it would make this monster, right? Anyways, the point is the Sega Tower of Power started with your Model 1. Then you went to your Genesis 1, then it went to your 32X, and then you could do other things on there. And I've seen people, and I'll put a picture up here, it's hilarious, the Tower of Power, and I think it was the Sega Net adapter, and then you could put Sonic and Knuckles, or maybe it was Sonic and Knuckles. No. Yeah, it would have been the, somewhere, I don't know, it builds up. I've seen it 3 feet tall, right, in this picture probably. And it's so many things that just click, 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 click together. Again, this goes back to what I said in the previous video when it came to the 32X, and I was like, we were all engineers. We were all engineers because we were trying to figure out what we can click together. The Model 2 was a far more dependable system, though. The Model 1 Sega CD definitely has its age showing. If you do come across one, 9 times out of 10, it's not working. Does that mean it doesn't have any value? Absolutely not. It means it has a crap ton of value still. A Model 1 in good working condition is going to run you probably $300 to $400. Model 1 in broken condition will run you at least $100. I want a Model 1. I have a guy that is a subscriber that I've used to fix so many of my consoles that I needed either new thermal paste to, I wanted him to clean up, I wanted his professional touch on it, like my PlayStation 3 CECH Model A01, the launch edition. I didn't want to tear into it, not because I didn't think I had the capabilities, but I wanted a professional that I know and trust. Eric did a phenomenal job on that, just like he did in doing my Sega Nomad that I've showed you guys, as well as my Sega Game Gear. I think Eric is a phenomenal individual. He's a really nice guy and does a really good job on helping me with these things. And I can't wait to hopefully find a Model 1 one day, and then I will pass this thing on to the next person. But for now, I have officially acquired a SEGA CD. I have officially acquired the Tower of Power. This is the SEGA CD. Now, I'm not going to say that, again, I'm super excited because, one, it's not a Model 1, which I would have rather had, but it is still a SEGA CD, so I am jacked like you don't even realize. For whatever reason, this has eluded me. And as a collector, since 2020, when I really started getting into this, or wait, no, 2021 is when I really started getting into this. Or was it 2020? Might have actually been 2020 now that I think about it. But I don't think I really got into it until 2021 when I really started hitting the ground running. And it is now middle of 2024 and I'm just now getting a SEGA CD. Some of it, I think people will say, well, it's kind of a niche thing. Some people will say it's expensive to collect for. Some people will say they didn't have it growing up. There's a lot of different reasons why somebody would not buy one of these. To me, I'm stoked to have this because this was one of those things that was on the flip side of the poster I was telling you about that I'm like, I can't wait to have it. So I'm going to put this down in front of the camera here. The Model 2, like I say, is a flip lid. So you push this button, lid flips up. You can see your drive right there. Close her back down. Again, flip it up, close her down. The other Model 1, like I say, was an ejection tray, kind of like your Xbox 360 or just about any other modern system in today's day. But it has a tray that come out. This right here is the back side, and you can see here you have all your fun ports. Now, if you remember when I was telling you guys about how we were engineers, here's your line outs for right and left. These are your audios. There's your mixing. I don't know what the cricket's mixing is. And then over here you have your power. Now, how does all this work? Honestly, I couldn't tell you. I do know that with the SEGA 32X, I told you, you have 2 power bricks. This one, I guarantee you're going to have a 3rd power brick. So now you need a power strip that can handle 3 bricks. You're going to have an adapter that goes from the Genesis probably to the SEGA CD, or the SEGA CD to the Genesis maybe, I don't know. And then from the 32X, may not even be able to be plugged in all at the same time. It could be 1,000 different ways, and I really don't know. But I will say I am still stoked to have this. And this one I'm happy with, despite not having the box. As you guys know, I've told you I love to have my boxes. I've been looking for a SEGA CD with the box. A Model 1 specifically with a good clean box is probably going to hit me $500-600, and I just haven't come across one that I can justify because a lot of times I think $500-600 is a very fair price for a good condition Model 1 with the box. A Model 1 on its own in good work condition should be between $300-400 based on what I've seen in the past. Maybe it's come down, I don't know, but as of the last I looked. You factor in a good clean box for it, and yet I see these individuals out there trying to get $800 to $1,000, and you can keep it. I'm not spending that much money just to have a box. I will find it eventually because, like anything I've discovered in life, patience, I hate saying it this way because I don't want to be patient on so many things, as we don't want to be patient in life. Nobody does, but it is one of those things that eventually it should show up. Just like this eventually showed up. Does it have the box? No. Will I want a box? Yes. Will I end up buying a box? Who knows? Because I really don't want the Model 2. I want the Model 1. The other reason I want the Model 1 is because with the Model 1, it will fit on my shelf with my Genesis. This is so wide, I won't be able to set it up. I'll actually have to hook this up to my CRT TV. Now, am I opposed to that? Yes. Am I opposed to that? No. The reasons why no is because I can then justify hooking a Genesis up to my CRT so I can play light gun games like my favorite light gun game on the Genesis, Lethal Enforcers. All right, let's get back to this crazy thing. Is this still recording? Good. All right, so this is the Model 2. Again, I showed you the back, showed you the top, showed you how it opens and closes. This one has an adapter piece. If you can see right here on the camera, does this actually show it? It barely shows it, but it's there. This little add-on piece right here. This is for the Model 1 Genesis because it's substantially bigger than the Model 2 Genesis. If you had the Model 2, you wouldn't need this. You could pull it off, put it back in the box. They get lost. People flip them on eBay all the time now because people are looking for them, obviously. And then it would click right here. You got a port on the side of your Genesis. You pop the cap off, click it in, you're good to go. But you got to plug everything in still. So anyways, that's the model to SEGA CD. Tons of full motion video, games like Night Trap, which has been re-released on the PlayStation 4, is a great one that was very controversial at the time. It was supposed to be like ninjas, or vampires actually, is what it originally was supposed to be, that were coming in or whatever it was, and it was just such a divisive game that it got a lot of backlash, and they've re-released it in recent days. You can watch videos on it, I'm sure. They made them out to be ninjas versus vampires or whatever. So anyways, long story short, the first game we're going to go over is my third and final game of the Oops that I discovered. That is Sherlock Holmes, Consulting Detective for the SEGA CD, and on the flip side is a SEGA Classics arcade collection where you get Streets of Rage, Revenge of Shinobi, Columns, and Golden Axe. Now when I opened this thing up, I looked at it and I was like, yay, Sherlock Holmes. I saw this disc, I didn't think anything of it, I flipped on to the next. Once I started going back through, I'm like, wait a minute, Sherlock Holmes is right? That's right here. And on the flip side would be Streets of Rage SEGA Collection. But you know what's not there? The matching disc, because it looks the same color, it just says collection on it. What is here is this thing. I have no idea what this is. This is SEGA of America Presents Rock Painting. What the crickets is rock painting? I think it's a SEGA CD game of some kind. Moving on from there, we've got probably the heaviest in this lot. We'll just start with Space Ace. And this is in a very good condition case. No cricks, no cracks. Space Ace right here. And you flip open, here's the disc right there. Disc is in very good shape as well. Nice click in there, no issues. Very, very happy with this. And again, he showed on his listing that everything did work with Space Ace, showing the SEGA CD worked and this game obviously works, which obviously I'm not going to worry about looking at the other ones because I'm sure they all worked. This particular one is called Double Switch. Double Switch. I have no idea. It's just called Double Switch. You can see the back of the box here. Still in good shape. Lots of FMV, full motion video, which is what SEGA CDs were really known for. There's the disc right there. So again, very happy to have that. And if you know anything about these discs, or these long box cases, if I'm not mistaken, these are the same cases that PlayStation, I think, used, but these are definitely the same cases, if nothing else, for the SEGA CD and the SEGA Saturn. And I have some brand new old stock ones in the closet for events like this next one. NBA Jam for the SEGA CD. This case, I'm going to show you right here on the other camera. Big crack, lots of tape. This case cover in and of itself is absolute garbage. Now, how does the back look? The back looks okay. I don't see any reason to replace the back, but I might just replace it in its entirety. One thing I will not do, though, is I noticed that on these things right here is that if this part is still good, I'm not going to bother changing that out. That might as well just stay. That way you can keep somewhat of the originality of it, and we can go forward from there. But this is exciting because, again, I have NBA Jam on a lot of consoles, but not on SEGA CD until today. Our next version here that we have is called AMC, or JVC's, or AH3 Thunderstrike by JVC. I don't know why JVC is advertised so heavy on it. There's a crack in the back of the box, so that needs to get replaced right there. And here's the front. It's in good shape. I'm not going to worry about that there. And for those that don't know, this is how they would ship with this little piece of styrofoam. Is that still recording? Good. This is how they would ship them, with this little styrofoam to keep the disc in place. If you remember when I told you when I got all these, for a lot of these, what happened, they were, thankfully those little nubs, but this is how they arrived, right? They were literally up there or they were down here. Either way, they were being stopped from flying all over the place by those little nubs. I do wish a lot of the modern games came this way with these little nubs of some kind, only because I've ordered games off of Amazon and many different places, and it never seems to fail. Somebody's rough, and the disc is bouncing all over the inside. Our last game, yes, I know, this is the end of the SEGA CD games that came in this collection. Again, I told you guys some of these lots were not very big, but it is what it is, and this one needs a new case on the back, and I'm going to just replace the front as well because it's highly scuffed. We've got Dracula, Bram Stoker's Dracula. Got some goo there, but more importantly, this front cover is really scratched up. This is going to get replaced as well because that's got a crack in it there. I don't want damage to my stuff. Everybody collects differently, and I'm looking for as good a condition as I possibly can always have. This back has a crack from there to there, so that's adios. I've never played Dracula. I have it on a couple consoles. I definitely have it on the Sega Genesis. I think I have it on the Super Nintendo if it came out on that as well, but the CD obviously is now in the collection, or maybe I'm thinking of Sega Saturn. Anyways, that completes today's collection video for the SEGA CD, part of this 6-part series. This is a month and a half worth of videos that you guys have sat through. Whether you watched them all over the course of a month and a half or you watched them in binge watch order, this is what good old Jeremy Rewinds dressed up as Ernest is bringing to you. This is insane. I'm super happy with this. I can't wait to find another collection. I've told you guys before, let me know if you've got a collection that's worth $6,000, $10,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, whatever it is that it's worth. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video of the SEGA CD. I'm definitely looking forward to giving you guys the last video. I'm going to do the recording here in a couple of minutes, and then I'm going to go do a bunch of editing. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. We will see you next time right here on Jeremy Rewinds for part 6, which is SEGA Saturn.
Press start, let